welcome back to Saxthorpe Farms. I was told I need to be more enthusiastic, so woo! And let's go back to normal. Sorry, just had a stupid moment there. So we need to sell the sorghum because there's a great demand. So that would be sensible because the price is pretty much about the best that's going to get, and we can make cash now instead of waiting. So going back to that moment of stupidness, I occasionally get comments that I should be more enthusiastic and exciting because more of you would watch. Do you know what? I don't give a shit. I am me. So yeah, bro, if you don't want to watch, that's fine, bro. But I ain't changing. And I actually saw it on another creator that I discovered this weekend who makes timberborn videos, and someone told him, oh, you need to be less monotone and more exciting. And it's like, actually, no, he's really funny. You just don't understand him. Yeah, I don't know if you watch Sanitation Gaming. I think that's how it said. I know you watch the Timberborn videos. I don't know if you watch me play farming as well. But yeah, that kind of stuff really annoys me. It's like there are enough performing monkeys on YouTube that if you want to watch someone pretend to be excited, go watch them. That ain't me, you know? And it's not other people. And if you don't understand that, and you don't understand the sometimes more subtle humor that they use, it's fine. But don't tell them they have to change. I hadn't planned to make that so much of a rant, but oh well. Hey, if you're still here, you probably like my stuff anyway, because most of the 5,000 don't actually watch these videos. So yeah. As I said, there's a great demand for sorghum. It actually kicked in right at the end of harvesting the sorghum field, and so I figured we could make a bunch of cash and then get on with work, because we have before the end of next game day I need to get our canola field harvested, and there is a canola harvesting contract that I want to get done because canola harvesting season closes at the end of September. We are going to go in the back door of the delivery point here because, you know, who doesn't like going in the back door? Anyway, let's see how much we're going to get for selling this. And I don't know why I'm in such a stupid mood this morning. I'm sorry. Well, I do, and I'll explain it in a bit, I guess. It's a couple of things. It's always two things, isn't it? It's always two things. This is actually the second video that I'm voiceovering this morning. So again, that's two things. Why do you guys watch? I don't know. So while this sells, I'm doing something really boring at work this morning. And so I've taken a 30-minute break to talk to you guys. And I think it's just made me go a bit loopy. So 48-ish grand for the first trailer load. There were 3 full trailer loads of sorghum, and then this extra 18,000 litres. So we'll get this loaded up and we'll head up to the store and get this last little bit sold. We made about £164,000 for this sorghum. It was a really nice payout, and I think all of that came off of the one field that we harvested. So really nice payout for one field's harvest, sold straight away, pretty much off the field, well, via a quick divert into our silo. And yeah, really happy with the return on that, and we have a bunch of cash in the bank, which is cool. So we're probably at the point where we could start thinking about buying more land with a couple $100 grand in the bank. The other thing that I'm battling in my head, and some of you will say that I have enough, is buying more tractors, because that means we can do more contracts, which means we can make more money. But the tractor that I'm looking at is not one that's going to enable us to make huge amounts of money, because there's only certain kit it can run, because it's a Deutz-Fahr Series 6. So it's like 155 horsepower, I think. Let's get the ploughing tractors repaired. So this is a pretty nice contract on field 11, but both of the tractors are pretty beat up, so we're going to get them repaired and bit of fuel in them, and then Cosplay is going to run this while we go harvest our canola field. So yeah, if you didn't see me use it last time, this is the field service truck by Akimobile, and you can put fuel in it, and if you drive up to a vehicle that needs repairing and open the back, it will slowly repair it for you and charge you. So yeah, yeah, I blame you, Rural, for mentioning it. I loaded this save up just after you mentioned wanting a Deutz 6 series on your save, and it was so tempting. I really love that it comes in the matte green in the Warrior, and it's just a nice size tractor, but I think at the moment we don't really have a use for it. So the thing that's not repairing is the weight. I'm not sure if that is because the repair thing is not recognizing the weight that needs repairing, but I'm not going to worry about it because we can crack on. A damaged weight is still heavy, and that's all it needs to be. So that's fine. Yeah, you can see the safety weight is 60% damage, which suggests that maybe the repair bar is showing the most damaged implement, actually. I'd not thought of that, but that seems to be the case. And it doesn't seem to want to repair weights. And if I go into here, you can see, because this one, the weight's 34% damaged, which seems to be what it's showing on the repair bar. So we're going to get the repair truck out of the way. I'm going to get these two running, and then we'll get the canola harvesting. And it's harvest season, so this is going to be a lot like the last video. I'm going to run the combine. We're going to see if auto drive can do its thing. I guess the next few fields I might start running Courseplay. We're deep in harvest season on here, and we have quite a lot of land, so you know there's not a lot we can do about that. It's a thing. Sorry, I just had a text arrive. I have a parcel that has been delivered. Awesome. So we're going to collect some contracts. What's that? About 50 grand's worth of contracts there that I think I finished the day before. So yeah, we're pretty well up on cash, which is what got me thinking about buying things. So yeah, we will spend a bit of it later on, but I'm not going to say on what. You'll have to keep watching. Darn it. Why has what I'm doing at work made my brain go so dumb? I don't know. I really don't. So we have got Courseplay and auto drive set up over here. I've brought over the other 7 series with one of the trailers as well, so that we can hopefully have 2 carters running and maybe clear the field a bit quicker. We'll see. It's a relatively long drive back to the silo from here, so that's why I wanted to have both, so that if the truck was on a run, we could still keep unloading with a decent amount of capacity. I don't think I ever got to the point where I was waiting, particularly beyond waiting for auto drive. So thanks to Rob for the comment. Actually, he's been having similar issues with auto drive, and I know Cartex had some on and off issues with it unloading combines. It's doing something kind of difficult, I guess. So maybe it's the maps that I'm playing. I've mostly been using auto drive on here, and maybe it's because on here the hedges don't have collisions. Now, so what I tried today, or when I recorded this, which isn't today, was restricting the carter to the field to see if that helped, because the auto drive network is in the field. So if we restrict the carter to the field, maybe that will help. It's hard to say, to be honest. It's hard to say whether it made a difference. So I'm making an early start because typically I play on ×5 on here. If I know that auto drive is faffing or is going to be slowing me down, I will occasionally knock that down a bit, but generally play on ×5, and we've got our own big field harvest and another field harvest. And if I was being enthusiastic, I would have got the Deutz combines out on the contract field, but we didn't actually have anything to cart for them, so it didn't matter particularly unless we had a 6 series. and you would have had a tractor. And I think I recorded this on Saturday or Sunday. Either way, I wasn't feeling great over the weekend. I've got another ploughing contract. We do like a ploughing contract and a sowing contract. Let's take that too. Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold or something going on at the moment, and so I played a lot of Farm Sim, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, but I wasn't up for doing anything too complicated. So having Courseplay run a 2-hour ploughing contract while I harvest a field was a pretty nice job, and actually that does mean that I did, because I think I played this in one sitting, I think. So that means I played a lot of Farm Sim that day for me. Now, some of you will sit and play Farm Sim for 10 hours a day. I know. I used to do that. I don't so much at the moment, mainly because I don't have time to play Farm Sim for 10 hours a day at the moment. Although saying that, on Sunday I must have played a good 6 hours. So ignore that. Ignore that. Sunday I was feeling pretty ropey as well. In fact, on Monday I'm still feeling pretty ropey. If it was the olden times where you went into the office to work, I probably wouldn't have. I would have probably had the day off, because we have a pretty firm going to work when you're ill policy. The idea being, and this was from right when I started, and the groups that I've been in have kind of maintained it as I've moved around a little bit. If you're ill and you go into work and you have a not massively productive day in work because you're ill, and at the same time you make another 2 or 3 people ill, then you pretty massively hit the productivity of the group, on top of being, it being a bit inconsiderate to make other people ill. So we've always had, or I've always worked in an area where we've had a policy of, if you're ill, don't go to work. Take a day or 2 off till you feel better. You probably won't achieve much anyway while you're in work, and there's a good chance you'll make someone else ill, and then they won't achieve stuff. So back in the times before working from home, I would have probably had a day or 2 off sick to get over this. But with working at home, I can just work at home and not affect everyone and just be somewhat less productive. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm not saying that every time I'm ill and I will work from home. I've had plenty of days, particularly with the cluster headaches, where I will take time off sick, because there's no point me even sitting pretending to be working. I want to be laying in bed in a dark room. Today I'm slowly plodding through some. This is going to sound really exciting. I'm taking stuff that's in one spreadsheet that our company used to use and moving it to a new spreadsheet that our company now wants to use. And the new spreadsheet wants a bit more stuff in it, so it's really fun. And it's purely because they want to put it in a different spreadsheet. So yeah, that's the work that's driving me a bit nutty. It's pretty easy to do when you're not feeling good. It's just dull. So the key to dealing with dull work: have regular breaks. And yeah, my working environment is very flexible. So it's kind of mid-morning. So I started work at 7, done a good few hours and taking a break. And back in those times where you would go to work, we used to have 2 30-minute breaks a day on top of our lunch hour. And so the reason for those, and all my friends used to really take the pee out of me for that, because it's like, so you go to work for a couple of hours, have a break, work for a bit more, have another break. It's like, yep. And what it was, and actually something that I think most people have got really bad at, especially with working at home, is our computer usage guidance. I think it's kind of standard rules. You used to say that for every so long you should have so much of a break from looking at the screen. And another cool thing that the bosses decided to do back then is they amalgamated those. So You know, you'd work for a couple of hours, you'd then go and spend half an hour having a cup of coffee, having a chat. Sometimes you'd chat about work, so you'd progress work stuff. Sometimes you'd chat about whatever. Didn't matter. You were getting a break from the screen. And also, with doing a job where it requires a lot of thinking, giving your brain a break is actually really productive. You know, you can kind of think through what you're working on and then go back to it with a fresh head. So they used to be really good. Occasionally we'd talk to people from other teams and stuff and that kind of thing. And don't do that now. So this is kind of my equivalent, I guess. I'm taking half an hour away from staring at spreadsheets to look at a different type of picture and talk at a microphone. Not weird at all. Not weird at all. Yeah. I really enjoy having a job that has that kind of flexibility. It's I have worked in like warehouses and stuff as a student where, you know, you go in, you start work at, I think the shift that I used to do, I think was like probably 2 till 10, something like that. And it was in a book warehouse. I think I've spoken about this. And basically we would be refilling the order picking stuff and picking some of the bigger orders that would go out to shops and stuff and palletizing them and things. Really, you know. And basically, yeah, you'd start work and you'd work until your kind of lunch break or whatever it was, or dinner break. And then you'd work until you finish work. And there'd be a guy there making sure that all of the people worked. And it was, you know, it was one of my first jobs. I was doing it in the holidays between terms at uni. And yeah, then went into this job, and very different, you know, basically self-management of time. We have people like me that could start work at 6 in the morning, depending on how early I'm up and feeling like doing stuff. And we have people that could start work at lunchtime. And, you know, we just as long as you get the job done, doesn't matter. So, yeah. And it kind of works, particularly with, you know, having ill wife, having pets, having kids. Being able to do all of those things without having to, you know, take actual holiday or whatever, or, yeah. Everything's managed kind of within our little team of 4 or 5 people, and yeah, it works well. It's good. It's much better. It's a much better way of working. It's the only real job I've had. But, you know, compared to like the jobs my mum and dad had, where they'd have to, you know, you couldn't just say, I'm taking tomorrow off. You know, you had to get someone to cover your shift and all that kind of thing. Maybe not this week. This week's a bad example because I've got a couple of things that I do have to go to. But quite often I could decide, you know, on Friday, actually, I don't want to work on Monday, and book the day off, and no one would care. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And so we're getting stuck into combining, and we're about to venture into the sales because I've made good notes. So last time, we brought the NovaCat Crossflow. The front mower's on sale now. I guess they wanted to sell the rest of their set. So that's cool. Picked that up. And there's also so we've got a square baler. There's a bale wrapper. So basically all of the kit that I wanted to be able to make silage, we've got in the sales, which is brilliant. I actually almost bought the front mower when we had that 300 odd K come in, because it's like, I want to get going. I was really tempted by that Rooster beet harvester. Apart from the fact that it's quite small. There's even a topper for sugar beet there. That was very tempting, but I think the fields on here are a bit big for a pull behind beet harvester. I think if we're going to get into root crops, we want to be in the bigger self-propelled jobs, and we will get there. We will get there. So I'm not just going to stick to combinable stuff. We we just need to have, you know, the £500,000 to pick one up, or one to crop up in the sales, which is probably more likely. And I think what I'm going to look at in terms of starting to work with root crops is, if we look at this, the carter is coming in. He's coming in. He's coming. No, yeah, you got this. No, stop, reverse. Yeah, what I think I'm going to do is, when I can pick up a harvester in the sales, a bit like we did with the combine header, the first truckload of canola coming in, I will then start looking at growing them. We can, once we get a harvester, we can start doing the root crop harvesting contracts, which pay really well. And I think that's the best way of doing it, rather than planting something and hoping. Particularly as I don't want to use the KS6B on here. I want to use one of the, you know, the bigger, more realistic, I guess, in inverted commas, because the KS6B is, I believe, a sugar beet harvester in the real world, but I want to use one of the big ones that's in game. So might actually install some of the ones that are on Mod Hub as well. But I want to get something like that to use, but we're going to have to either pick it up in the sales or save up for it. So I also really want another big combine, mainly for when we go work over on the oaks. Trademark coming soon. So Kartek's spoken about it in his videos. I have been contracted to harvest one of his fields on the oaks, and I've got the logistics. His end are sorted, the logistics my end are sorted. I just need to record it now. So we are going to get paid 50 grand to harvest his field. I think we have to give him the crop. I think. That's my assumption anyway. If you don't want the wheat as well, buddy, I am more than happy to take that off your hands. Shipping it across to here might be an interesting challenge, but hey, we can work something out. My working assumption is I'm just combining the field for him. So, and probably we will be using his kit. So he's basically just paying us a bunch of money because he can't drum up the enthusiasm to combine a field because he's a lazy farmer. Nah. I know he's wrapping up his oaks save, and it is a big old field, but he's offered me 50 grand, so you know I can't turn that down. And I'm going to try and do a video that's a little bit different. It's not going to be probably not going to be a main video. It might be like a morning video or whatever. Not so as to not interrupt the flow of normal stuff, and basically doing anything on the oaks takes ages. So I've got a plan. I just need to execute the plan. I'm hoping that will drop later this week, maybe over the weekend. Actually, we'll see. We will see. So, but yeah, I was actually, it's quite interesting because it's the first time that we've swapped a save. So he sent me his save game, and I then rebuilt most of the mod directory to the point where I wasn't short of anything critical. Yeah, he doubles up on some mods. But yeah, so I hope you don't mind me taking the piss out of you, buddy. It is purely meant in jest. So yeah, I think I've told you enough times, you don't need power tools and easy dev in the same folder. Just saying. Yeah, so we're doing pretty well on getting this combined after a little bit of insulting one of my friends. And yeah, we're then going to move on to doing the other harvesting contract, and it's getting, yes, it's getting into the mid-afternoon. It's not a huge field, but I came up with a cunning plan. So we're combining canola. We have to deliver canola for that contract. So what I thought was, and I think it was at about this point I swapped it. In fact, it may be coming up in a moment in the gameplay. I decided to cart the canola that we've got coming off the field now and that's left in the vehicles now. I'm going to take to the sell point for the contract so that it's delivered against the contract. So that so we can get everything delivered. I'm going to drop the header a couple of times because my fingers were in the wrong place on the keyboard and I wasn't looking at the keyboard. But yeah, we're going to do that, and then we can just combine the field and take the crop off of that back to the silo. And I think that would be just slightly more efficient because, yeah, I think it would just be slightly more efficient. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. Maybe not so much now, but it's what I did. So, you know, we had a lot of canola in the silo. Not sure if all of it came off of this field. That's the problem with running multiple really long saves, that I don't always remember what we've harvested and what we haven't. So I'm just trying to slow the combine. I was trying to slow the combine right down to give auto drive a chance to catch up. It didn't. Yeah. I don't know. Here it is. It's I don't have any fields. I need to test it on, in fact I did test it. I'm sure I used it on Glenlarthen and there were very few issues. So I'm wondering if it's the trailers. I don't know. I am curious now if it's these trailers that are causing the issue, because as I said, on Glenlarthen, sorry, I'm just looking for something. I did an entire field harvest using the Iveco, using Courseplay and Auto Drive, because I was up in the sky as drone cam and it worked fine. So, although we are having the similar problems with the auger, so maybe it's not the trailers. Maybe it's the combine. I don't know. And there were certainly issues with it aligning with the auger, but it's a base game combine, so maybe it's just auto drive. I don't know. I don't know why I'm. You know, it's doing a job, and it would be, you know, the other way that I could tackle this is the way that I quite often do harvests on my own, which is to put trailers. And it's what we did on the Nebraska multiplayer save a lot when Kartek and I were driving harvesters, is to put the trailers at either end of the field or one end of the field in this case, and every time you go past you tip, and that works quite well. That does work quite well. So this is it. So that's the one that I am going to be paid to harvest, and I thought, brilliant idea, let's swap over where we are sending our crop. So it so happened, thankfully, that I actually had the sell point set up in auto drive. In fact, I didn't mention, I also went through and reorganized all of my auto drive waypoints so that they're in a nice set of folders now. So at the start, I'd put them all in folders, and then I started making waypoints and not having them in folders. And so I went through, I think at the start of this video, and made some new folders and put everything in a folder so that it's much easier to tell where things are, because that way it just makes my life easier. So yeah, I've just set the words, the truck and the 7250 to deliver to the sell point for the contract. Now, in reality, actually, it probably wouldn't have made much difference because the sell point for the contract was really close to the field. In fact, it was the other side of a hedge. Now, I would have had to drive around the hedge, but it was very close. So maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. I really don't. But I thought it was a good idea. I felt like there was going to be some time pressure with combining. And so if I could combine the field, having delivered enough crop already, then it didn't matter what time I finished. Now, the sell points on this map aren't timed in any way, so that isn't really an issue. There's an idea, Farms in Briscoe, if you're still watching. Maybe you could do that on the Oaks. How unpopular would that be if the sell points had gates like shops do sometimes and they closed at night? Oh, that's a really good bad idea, or a bad good idea. I don't know. That would probably really bug me, to be honest, but it would be good. It would be good. Don't hate me, everyone. It would be good. Did I mention he's updating the Oaks? Yeah. I think I might have. So a couple of rows to go by the looks of it, maybe a few more. I did actually this time set up to run along the tram lines so that I wasn't so triggered rewatching the footage of me combining like last time, because that was a bit annoying. Yeah. I'm also curious about something else. We've got a couple of minutes. AI art. So and a bunch of you don't like Timberborn videos. I know this. I love playing the game. It's doing great things for the channel. So choose to ignore them at your will. But I did a poll for those videos on AI art versus game pictures for thumbnails. And the AI art was way more popular. And I've used it for a couple of farm sim videos where they've been tutorials where there hasn't been an obvious game picture to take. And I'm kind of curious what people's thoughts are on that, you know. Normally for a farm sim video, a thumbnail will have been like this and is a picture of me farming. I know quite a lot of people have started using AI art for thumbnails, and I assume there's a reason for it. And like I say, the poll that I ran, I think it was over 80% in favor of the vaguely related AI art picture versus the game picture. Now, the game picture wasn't great, and that was partly why I'd done the AI art option, because I wasn't happy with the thumbnail. So maybe there's some bias there, but I'm kind of curious as to whether it would enhance the likelihood of people clicking. Because as I think it was the start of this video, or earlier on this video, I said only a few hundred of the 5,000 watch. Most of the 5,000 are not here to watch me play farm sim. Most of them are here to watch me tell them about how things work in farm sim. But if a few more of them would watch me play farm sim, that would be cool. As I said, I know some of you don't like the Timberborn videos, but they get more views than this will. 90% sure. Now that's partly because Timberborn's had a massive update and people are really interested in the content, but yeah, before that the Timberborn videos didn't do better. But you've got to ride these waves. So that's our canola harvested. So I'm not sure if I show the yield yet. I think I do, because I did make sure that I'd reset the precision farming stuff so that we got the yield off of this field. The yield off the field, because I think we had canola in the silo already. So that was about the easiest way of working it out. And I did this because it's much quicker than waiting for AutoDrive to find me. So just going to set this to deliver and set it to Saxthorpe Grain Bay 2. And I need to fix that. That typo bugs me as well. The uppercase A in Saxthorpe. That does bug me. Oh, yeah, we need to we'll go get this dropped off. I'm just going to cut through here and get us onto the road, because there's an auto drive route there rather than it driving around the field, because it'll be slightly quicker. And then we need to send the Volvo down as well, and So that's all delivered. All of the grain for the contract is delivered. I set the combine on course play, and I set course play Eagles. Following on from what you did, I set course play to do, I think, something like 6 or 7 headlands. So 24 grand for the contract. It's worth noting that repairing those cost me about 6 grand. So yeah, we made a lot of money off that planning contract, but not as much as it would appear. About a quarter of the value of the contract went on repairing and refueling those. Yeah, so I did a lot of headlands and it made it a bit quicker, which was cool. Just meant the combine kept moving, and then I would occasionally jump on and cart because it wasn't the highest yielding field ever. So the combine didn't fill up that quickly, which was kind of nice because it meant I didn't have to pay quite so much attention. So there we go. We are done. I'm hoping I'm going to show you the yield off of field 24. I didn't bother getting that strip down there that you can see. No way. So yeah, 7 grand for harvesting that. Not too bad. And please show what I got off the other field. If not, I'll show it next time. Here we go. So 162,000 litres of canola. Really nice. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you to the patrons and YouTube channel members. Really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, stick them below. And I will see you next time.